Have you ever wondered how you could get a whole bunch of people scattered all over the place and actually turn them into a real, cohesive organization, one that kind of runs itself? Well, today, we're going to tear down the design of a web app built to do exactly that. We're going straight to the source, the actual design notes and the logic behind the code to see how it all clicks together. All right, let's get into it. So, this is the big question, right? This is the whole reason the system exists. And we're not just talking about a glorified to-do list here. The idea is to build an actual blueprint for a living, breathing organization with all the tools you'd need for people to jump in and help it grow organically. Everything in this entire application is built on these two mottos. Seriously. The first one, no one is an island, means that everything has to be connected to something else, no loose ends. The second, have your say, do your bit, is all about making sure the system is built for people to actively participate, not just, watch from the sidelines. Keep these two phrases in your head because you're going to see them over and over again. Okay, so if you're going to connect everything, you need some kind of universal building block, right? A single, super flexible unit that can stand in for anything in your organization. And that's where this concept of the app profile comes into play. An app profile, which is just short for app profile, is basically the system's atom. It's the smallest fundamental piece. Think of it like a digital container. Now, you and I would have our own app profiles as users. That makes sense. But here's the wild part. Everything in the system gets one. And this is where it gets really powerful. A task, like welcome new members, isn't just a list. It has its own a profile. A group like the Art Collectors Club, that's an a profile too. You can even take a totally abstract idea, like data protection, and turn it into an a profile. This lets you connect people and tasks and resources directly to that concept. It's incredibly flexible. I just love this quote from the developer's notes. It's so honest, right? Because it is weird to think of a web page as a student that you can assign to a task. But you have to bear with it because this is the magic trick that lets the system organize and track literally anything, not just what people are doing. It's what makes the whole thing work. So let's see how this all connects. If a profiles are the who and the what of our organization, then tasks are the how. This is the engine that turns all those profiles into action. And it's the direct fulfillment of that second motto. Have your say, do your bit. So in this world, a task is way more than a checkbox. It can be a whole training course with instructions. It can be a simple checklist. It can even be what the designer calls a soft production line, where you move an idea through different stages of work. Some of these tasks might even be humming along in the background, completely invisible to the user. And here's what makes it so consistent. Every single task, no matter what it's for, is built on the same simple foundation. It always has at least 3 steps. The first 2, abandoned and completed, are basically system states. The real action always kicks off at step 3. This gives every single process a predictable, reliable starting point. Okay, so we have our Lego bricks, the profiles, and we have our engine, the tasks. But how do we actually snap them together to build something that looks like an organization? Well, that happens through this really simple but incredibly powerful relationship system. That's it. That one little sentence structure defines every single connection in the entire system. It's like a universal grammar for building your organization. John is a member of the Art Collectors Club. Or maybe Task A is a predecessor of Task B. You can define any relationship you can think of. Now, this is a really important distinction to get, the difference between assigning and relating. Assigning is when you put in a profile on a task to get something done. It's a procedural thing. But relating is different. That's when you create a conceptual link between two profiles. It's how you build the structure. So one is about process, the other is about the org chart. You could relate a person to a project without ever assigning them to do a specific task on it. And boom, there it is. This is how the system makes that first motto a reality. Through this relationship web, every single person, every task, every idea is connected. Nothing exists in a vacuum. The system is even designed to have a tool that can hunt down any island profiles that have somehow become disconnected from everything else. Okay, we've seen all the individual pieces. Now for the really cool part. Let's watch them come together to create a living, automated system that actually responds to what users do, all in real time. So check this out. A new user joins and they're filling out a survey. They check a box that says, yeah, I'm interested in helping with events. Now, hidden inside that checkbox's code is something called a data-action tag. When they click it, the app doesn't just do something immediately. Instead, it creates what's called a petition, basically a request, and it sends that request to a central state manager. The rest of the system is listening for that change, and it reacts automatically, in this case, by assigning our new user to the event planning onboarding task. So let's trace that flow. It all starts with a single click. The code listening for that click has one job and one job only, to read the petition from the thing that was just clicked. It has no idea what to do with it. Its only job is to pass the message along. That petition then goes and updates the central app state. You can think of the app state as the system's main communication hub, or like a central notice board. By changing the state, it's basically shouting, "Hey everyone, a user just requested this action." Now, a totally separate part of the application is constantly watching that notice board. It sees the new message, and it knows what to do. In this case, it springs into action and renders a new panel on the screen. Maybe it's the very first step of that welcome task the user was just assigned to. And this is what makes the architecture so powerful and so elegant. The survey part of the app doesn't need to know anything about the task part of the app. They're completely separate. They both just talk to that central state, that notice board. This makes the system incredibly flexible and easy to add on to later. And the vision for this whole thing is pretty big. It's not just about this one app, but a whole suite of tools that all talk to each other. Messaging, bug reporting, you name it. It's also designed to be open, so you could plug in other tools via an API. And to make it easy to get going, the plan is to have pre-built templates for all kinds of different groups, whether you're a collectors club, a sports team, or even a business startup. And really, that's what this all boils down to. This is more than just a piece of software. It's a toolkit for building communities. It provides this incredibly flexible structure for identity, for action, and for relationships, and it empowers people to organize themselves in brand new ways. Which kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about.